Chair recognizes Representative John Corbett to present the invite resolution. Representative Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, it's indeed an honor for me this morning on behalf of the South Georgia delegation from Lowndes County to recognize our guests this morning. I served on a military affairs study committee this past year and was able to go around the state to try to learn what our state could do to be a better partner with our military installations. Not only to make the state the best place to do business, but to make the best place for our military warfighters to raise their families. Also learned the huge impact economically that they have on our bases, over $20 billion to our local state economies. Also learned about the valid roles that each one of our bases plays in the defense of our nation. But the thing that impressed me the most as I traveled around to these different bases was the brave men and women that are defending our country. They putting on those uniforms every day and laying their lives on the line where we can do what we do, where we can lay our heads down at night and go to sleep and rest easy knowing that we are protected. We are glad to have 4 of those brave service members here with us this morning. We've got Colonel Kunkel, the commander from Moody. We got Staff Sergeant Jamie Zimmer, Staff Sergeant Razim Zimmer, and in the gallery up top we've got Master Sergeant Jared Sebastian. We're glad to have them this morning. We also have 3 of our best advocates for Moody Air Force Base with us this morning from South Georgia and Lowndes County. We've got Mayor John Gale from Valdosta. We've got the chairman of the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners, Bill Slaughter. We've got the city manager from Valdosta, Larry Hanson. We're glad to have them here. And before I ask Colonel Kunkel to come up and say a few words, we've got their bios on your desk for each 4 of these from Moody. I'd like for you to read them when you get a chance. But I'd like to tell you a little something about Colonel Kunkel that's not in those bios. Something we learned from an article that was written about the man that's been nominated to be the Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force. There's a picture up on the screen. The title of the article is Behind Enemy Lines. 1999 was the year an F-16 was shot down in Serbia. We also had a squadron of search and rescue helicopters stationed in Bosnia. 3 of those helicopters were dispatched to go rescue that downed pilot. The helicopters had to navigate hostile enemy fire getting to where the plane was shot down. They was able to land, locate the pilot. 2 of the crew jumped out to run to assist the pilot back to the helicopter, using their bodies as human shields to protect this pilot that was down, to get him back to the helicopter. Shots hitting the ground all around them. The helicopter got hit 5 times. They get him back in the helicopter, jump on top of him to protect him. Anyway, the pilot's able to take off, navigate the hostile fire again, make it back to safety. The man you see on the screen on the left there as you're looking at the screen is now, he has been confirmed as the Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force, the pilot that they rescued, General David Goldfein. The man in the picture with him on the right, Colonel Kunkel, the man on the stage with us this morning. He was the pilot that flew that helicopter that rescued him. Ladies and gentlemen, will you stand and help me recognize a true American hero, Colonel Thomas Kunkel.
Mr. Speaker, Representative Corbett, you all, thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning and represent Moody Air Force Base and, in my words, the best community and base relationship in our Air Force today. I'll tell you that Moody Air Force Base is a part of Air Combat Command. It's about 5,000 acres, and we employ over 5,000 active duty and reserve airmen, along with 500 civilians and contractors on the base, with an economic impact of about $450 million. I'll tell you that simply the job of the 23rd Wing and the Flying Tigers at Moody Air Force Base is to attack and rescue. In more simpler terms, it's to kill the bad guys and save the good guys, and that's what we do. We employ a host of weapon systems to make that happen, to include the A-10 Thunderbolt aircraft, which takes out enemy on the battlefield, the HC-130J aircraft, which helps save an airman's life. That's built right up the road here in Dobbins Air Force Base. And finally, the HH-60G Pavehawk helicopter. Tell you, Moody is also home to the 81st Fighter Squadron, which trains Afghan pilots and maintainers how to fix and fly their airplanes and build a professional air force for the Afghan partners that we work with now. In 2016, Moody Air Force Base in the 23rd Wing flew 30,000 flight hours, 10,700 of which were in combat. That included 1,700 strike missions, resulting in 1,186 enemy killed in action. Additionally, our rescue forces saved 17 lives across the globe this past year. Also in 2016, Moody deployed over 5 million pounds of cargo and over 2,000 airmen and support and command commanders across the globe. That was the largest push from Air Combat Command in over 3 years. In keeping with the Super Bowl theme today, I will tell you that for the past 70 years, the Air Force is not only rising up, it has risen up and now dominates airspace and cyberspace for our United States. But as you know, air and space superiority is not an American birthright. They must be fought and won. Yet today's Air Force is the oldest and the smallest that it's ever been in our history. And despite these challenges in a global security environment that demands even more air power today, we continue to accomplish the mission day in and day out. I will tell you that I sleep well at night, not knowing that we have the oldest airframes in the world, but knowing that we have the best airmen in the world. And I'd like to recognize two of those airmen today that are standing next to me, Sergeant Jamie Zimmer and Sergeant Rick Zimmer. These two airmen have been in the Air Force almost just over 5 years. They are a mill-to-mill couple. They've been married just over 2 years. They are both intelligence specialists in our Air Force. One provides targeting for the attack platforms, and the other one provides operational support to intelligence for our rescue platforms. Additionally, Sergeant Jamie Zimmer here is one of the Air Force's 12 Outstanding Airmen of the Year for 2016. She is one of 12 airmen that represents the 330,000 airmen of our United States Air Force, a very distinct honor. And I'd just like to give them a round of applause for taking the oath to serve our nation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's an honor.